Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into something a little different today. We're tackling how to teach kids about money.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like everyone wishes they'd had a better grasp on it earlier.
100%. And we're dissecting this article, 5 tips for teaching financial responsibility. I'm curious to see what they suggest. It's not exactly light reading material,
True, but so important. It's about setting those foundations early on, right?
for sure. And they kick off with something pretty nostalgic, the piggy bank. I mean, who didn't have one?
Right. But it's more than just a cute tradition. There's some serious psychology behind it. Like, even just seeing those coins add up, it makes saving real for kids, not just this abstract idea.
Oh, that's a good point. It's like a visual progress report. I
Oh.
love that. So, after piggy banks, the article talks about allowances. Always a bit of a hot topic, right? What's their angle?
They call it controlled independence, which I think is spot on. Basically, it's about letting kids manage tiny amounts of money. Learn by doing, even if it means messing up sometimes.
So it's less about the actual dollars and more about the lessons learned.
Exactly. It's like training wheels for when they have to make bigger financial decisions later on.
Right, right. Because let's be real, sometimes you got to learn the hard way, right? Like blowing your allowance on candy, then realizing you can't afford that new toy.
And the article actually gives an example like that. It's so true. No amount of lecturing can replace that kind of experience.
Totally. Okay, moving on. They also talk about setting goals. That's got to be key, right?
Huge. But they get into this really interesting point about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation.
Mm.
Like, kids are way more likely to save if it's for something they really want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's about helping them find their own reasons to save, not just saving because they're told to.
Makes total sense. Like when I was little, I saved up for months to buy my first video game console. That feeling when I finally got it because I earned it was incredible.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that.
Exactly. It's powerful.
Okay, what else do they cover? Budgeting. I think even us adults could use a refresher on that sometime.
You're telling me, but the cool thing is, even doing simple budgeting exercises with kids can have a big impact down the line. It's about understanding needs versus wants.
So important.
Right. Like, even just having a toy budget can help them start to make those connections.
It's like building those financial muscles early on.
Totally. You got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly. And last but not least, the article talks about parents leading by example.
Which is huge. Kids are always watching, right? They pick up on everything, even when we don't realize. How we handle our own money speaks volumes.
It's that whole do as I do, not as I say thing.
Exactly.
So to sum it all up, it sounds like teaching kids about finances isn't about throwing a bunch of jargon at them. It's about those small, relatable steps. And most importantly, walking the walk ourselves.
Absolutely. It's about making it practical and relevant to their lives, not some abstract concept.
Totally. And on that note, it makes you wonder, how can these principles be adapted for different ages? Like a teenager needs a different approach than a 6-year-old, right?
Right. Something to think about for sure.
Lots to consider. So, listeners, as always, let us know what you think. What are your experiences with teaching kids about money? Share your thoughts, tips, and questions. Until next time.